Hi there, guys. So it's Sunday, and today we're going to talk about Christmas. So while I don't want to put doom and gloom on probably the happiest time of the year for the majority of the country, um, Christmas isn't always so easy for everybody else. Um, I mean, the days are getting shorter. That does affect people's mental health and mood. And not everybody has such a happy time at Christmas. Um, and there's multiple things that cause this. So some people have lost someone at Christmas, so Christmas may not be such a happy time for them. They may have lost the people that they spent Christmas with. Um, they may not have anyone. And then there's the homeless community. So the homeless community has a real bad stigma around drugs and alcohol, and sure, some of them probably. But if you lost everything and were sent to the street, wouldn't you turn to something that would make you numb? If you had just about enough money to buy a bottle of whiskey or buy some food, food will get you will make you not hungry for a couple of hours. The bottle of whiskey might numb you out for the night. As someone that struggled with issues around alcohol, they can get that. They can get that completely. And not everyone's there because they want to be. There are some that obviously are quite happy being on the street, but majority of them don't. But honestly, I couldn't imagine being in their position and trying to find a way out. I mean, you can't find a job without a house or without somewhere to live. And if you can't find a job, you can't get money. You can't get money, you can't buy things. It's kind of a vicious circle. And I don't envy them being out there at this time of year. Now everybody's pinching the pennies right now, so I get giving to the homeless isn't always ability to do. But there are charities out there that donate coats, all of that sort of thing. So yeah, it's just important to remember that not everybody's in the same situation with you. Another bit I wanted to talk about to do with Christmas is at school, when I was growing up, presents were different. You weren't getting tablets and phones, you were getting toys and games. And I think it's important to remind your kids not to be bragging about their presents at school, because as though they might be so happy that they've received an iPad for Christmas, there are kids out there that may not have received anything. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't get too caught up in your own situation that you forget others. Because we're not all in the same boat. And I think people with mental health will struggle through Christmas as well. Because it's a time when you have to spend more money, which causes more stress. And things come up like secret Santas at work. Being able to afford to go to the Christmas do. Going out for friends to celebrate for Christmas. I mean, it all adds up and it's an extra stress. I mean, I tend to try and get my Christmas stuff out of the way as soon as possible because I don't want to think about it again. Because trying to budget for it is near on impossible. Because there's always something else that crops up. And the last thing that I want is to get to Christmas and someone's not getting a present because they can't afford it. I'm very fortunate with my situation because I've got well, I don't come from money, but where my family's not exactly at the bottom end of the scale, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Me, on the other hand, I've always struggled with money. I've always had issues with it, and I think it's woken my eyes up a little bit to how lucky I am, the situation that I'm in. But not everyone is so fortunate, and I think it's just important at Christmas to remember that. Um, I mean, I know for a fact one of my friends lost a sibling around Christmas. And I know that for many years, Christmas was never the same again. And while everyone was wishing each other's Merry Christmas, I know that family was having a real hard time. Christmas is supposed to be a good time for everybody, but it's not, in all facts. It's a very commercialised holiday now. And as I say, while I don't want to bring you down about your own Christmas, because I'm sure we'll all have a wonderful Christmas in the end, in our own ways. But it's just important to remember to support those people out there that may not be. And when you're walking past that homeless person at the station this Christmas, maybe offer to buy them something if you haven't got any change, because I mean, I know no one carries anything. If you're worried about them buying alcohol or buying drugs or whatever, go and buy them a sandwich from Sainsbury's. You haven't got that excuse then. I think it's important to remember that. You can't tar everybody with the same brush. And it's extremely cold out there at the moment. I can't even think about the homeless people that must have been on the street during this storm this weekend. And I can't blame them if they drunk their way through it. When you feel like you've got no other option, I suppose. I've never been in that situation, so I wouldn't know, but I can imagine the appeal to drugs and alcohol and how easy it would become to become hooked and dependent on it. They say you don't judge anyone until you've walked a mile in their shoes, and I think that is definitely true for our homeless population, and I think it's gone up massively since COVID, but in more recent years with the cost of living crisis and everything that's going on in the world, and the fact this country is overpopulated with not enough affordable housing. The mental health charities and the homeless charities are under enormous strain and enormous pressure with not a lot of staff and not a lot of funding. I think it's an impossible situation to deal with. But I think it's important to remember this time of year that not everybody's in the same boat as you, but also to be grateful for what you've got. Because the fact that you're watching this video right now says that you have a smartphone or a computer or a tablet, and that's more than some people have. Don't get lost in the commercialization of Christmas as well. Your presents don't have to be extravagant. The people that are expecting extravagant gifts from you don't appreciate you, because it's the thought that counts. And it's why every year I will spend a set amount on my mum and dad and my sister and my family members, and I then will go and buy an extra gift. Not anything too extravagant, not too expensive, but something that I've thought of. Something that's come from me. And I always think that well, majority of them, some of them might have gone badly, but I think majority of them, they're appreciated more. And I think that's important, that at this time of year, given the current economic situation, that we focus more on getting something that will mean something to someone rather than spilling out loads of money. And being grateful, as I say, being grateful for what you've got. Christmas is a difficult time of year for some people. And also New Year. Because New Year is a celebration of the year that's just gone. If you've had a really tough year, you may not have a lot to celebrate. But it is important to remember, you are still here. And you are still fighting your fight and your struggle. That is worth celebrating. That is worth remembering. So if you feel like you have nothing to celebrate this year, you didn't get that new job, you didn't have a particularly great year mental health wise, you didn't achieve anything of value or what you feel to be value, remember that you're still here. Remember you're still fighting that fight. Remember the house that you've got, the family that you've got, the friends you've got, whatever it is, no matter how small. There's something to be grateful for. And something to celebrate. And it's also the FOMO thing of New Year. I managed to get that out of my system a couple of years back. Because you don't have to go out and party. Everything is far too expensive. Everything is far too busy. It's not necessary to go out. You can stay at home and have a great New Year. I mean, I've had many a great year at home. The first year that I did it, the FOMO sets in, and you do feel like you're missing out because everybody else is out at parties and whatever, but that's not what's important. And if you can't afford to do it this year, or you don't feel mentally up for it, or whatever, there's no harm in that. It's remembering at this time of year especially to sort of concentrate on the things that are important, and the positives, and remembering that no matter how small that positive is, it's still a positive. And then a seasonal defective. I can't remember what it's called now. The one where you can go into winter seasons, you start to feel down and low and all of that. Remember that is a factor in your own mental health too. Don't beat yourself up for feeling low this time of year. I mean, majority of us are starting and finishing work when it's dark. You're not seeing a lot of sunlight. And that will have an effect on you this time of year. It's important to remember that. But you've made it. We're in December. We're in the final few weeks of 2024. Remember those that you've lost. Remember those that you've gained. Appreciate those that you've gained. Learn the lessons from the ones that we've lost. Not through passing away, but just faded out of life. Out of our lives, should I say. But remember the ones that you have lost to, whether it be illness or whatever. I think this time of year is a time to reflect. It's time to be grateful, but also a time to move on. If you have had a tough year this year, believe it in this year. This year is coming to a close. Next year is a brand new start. It might be the same shit, different year. But that's only if you feel that way. If you constantly go into the New Year's thinking, oh, it's going to be the same shit this year, then it will be. But if you go in with a positive outlook and wanting to change things, you can. But yeah. That's all I want to speak about today. I hope you have a great day and a great mental health day, and I'll speak to you guys soon.